And we are live. Keep wanting to adjust that camera. Hold on a second, guys.
And today we will do that. Exactly that.
Do what, huh?
We will do that. We will adjust that camera.
Oh yeah, it's just, dude. I've got it setting on a tripod. All I have to do is just adjust it here or there. We're good. Um. Oh, and you know what? I probably need to turn the fan down. I tell you what, guys. Tell me how this sounds because I've got a ceiling fan going full bore right now, just to keep it cooler in here because it's that time of year. But if it's creating a lot of wind, I'll turn it down. So, um,
as long as you have your air conditioning, you're good.
Yeah. Okay, so all right, one eye doesn't hear any background noise. As long as it's good, I'm going to leave it on so that we don't roast.
Yeah, because it's that time of year, and it will be for the next 4 months.
Pretty much, yeah. Usually around here it doesn't start to cool down a little bit until October. So that's one of the reasons why October is like party time for me because you're getting close to Halloween, but also the weather starts to let up. So, but yes, happy solstice, everyone. Of course, for a lot of us it's the summer solstice, and for our friends down under it's the winter solstice, and wish we could swap a little bit of warm and cool air, but
I just wish we were rich enough to live in Australia half the year.
Well, I don't know. I'd love to see it one day, but yes, and it is a full moon. Yes, and lift that and okay, good. So not hearing the fan. Good. I'm going to leave it on then. The only thing is it will kind of mess with the candles a little bit, but we'll account for that. But yeah, you have strawberry moon. It's coming up right now, and what we're honoring tonight is Hathor, who visits her father Ra in Iunu. Iunu, of course, is the Egyptian name for Heliopolis. It actually survives in biblical references as own. They referred to it as own. So Iunu, probably, something like that. But it was the city of the pillar. That's Ra's city. And there's a connection between Ra's sacred city and Hathor's sacred city of Dendarah, because the Egyptian name for it was Unit. So the feminine pillar.
And to that I say, who knew?
You knew who knew, yeah. But there was just as Hathor would go and visit Horus down in Edfu, she'd also go and visit Dad up in Heliopolis. So there was some reciprocity between those two cities as well, and so that's what they're doing tonight, which is kind of appropriate since it is the solstice. Even though the Egyptians didn't really do much for the solstice, which might seem kind of odd to us, but who actually pointed this out in a way that made sense was an Assyriologist talking about in ancient Mesopotamia, they didn't do things for the solstice like we would expect either. As a matter of fact, they did something to honor it, but it was like almost 2 weeks later. And that's because the closer to the equator you get, the less obvious the solstice seems. For European traditions, you're further north, so the differences, like in the length of the day and stuff of that, from the solstice to the equinoxes and all that, is a lot more noticeable. But the closer to the equator you get, it's a much more subtle difference, and so they didn't make as big of a deal out of it. And Mesopotamia is on about the same line of parallel as where we are here in North Louisiana, but Egypt was further south than that. About on parallel with, I guess, like the Gulf of Mexico, or maybe the Florida Keys, depending on how far down you go. So so the solstice was not as big of a deal for them, but there was still kind of a solar shindig, and so that's what we're doing tonight. So you're going to step out so that we don't. Okay, Darren will be joining us in just a minute, and then we'll have the cool waters waiting for him. So yeah. Um, yeah. Yes. Maybe the Bible was on to something. And that one person, howdy. So, all right. Well, we're gonna let you do your thing. We're gonna kind of get started, and then we'll catch you with the cool waters. So. All right. I'm going to go first. We'll get there in just a minute. These cool waters are upon my hands. They purify me. This technique purifies me. Hail unto you, O Iunu. We come unto you without falsehood and without evil. Our purity is upon our hands, purity is within our hearts, and we have cast out all evil that pertains to us. I'm just going to set this over here. We are pure, we are pure, we are pure, we are pure. And so will there in just a minute. Okay.
Wonder if we have approached the time of year where he's actually happy about it.
It depends. He's just trying to make sure that cold water doesn't have unintended consequences. So, and he will he'll pick up with us in just a minute. But just gonna have to sort of shield the candle. So it's a little windy in here. There we go. Yeah. Just like that, the fan. Sit there and blow it out. Alrighty, that's better. Come in peace, bright eye of Horus. Come in peace. Receive the light.
Receive the light.
The eye of Horus shines like Ra in the twin horizons, and evil hides in fear of it. Receive the light.
Receive the light.
The eye of Horus destroys the enemies of Ra and all of their abodes, till none remain. Receive the light.
Receive the light.
The eye of Horus comes to the four corners of the world. To everyone who is tuning in with us now, who will be joining us in the future, and has been with us in the past. This eye of Horus comes, and we are all purified with it. Receive the light.
Receive the light.
Yeah, and this is where jar candles and having a glass votive holder comes in very handy. We're going to light our candle for Mofdat. Oh, thank you. There we go. And for Sekhmet, we ask Sekhmet to bring peace and healing to all those who need it. All right, hold on. I need to replace this this lighter because it's probably low on fuel, but there we go.
She is a magic lamp.
Huh. Well, there's a certain physics to tea lights. The wax has to melt just enough for it to catch. There we go. That got it. Okay. So it was almost there when this thing ran out of fuel and just said, poof, okay, it ran out of oxygen, but fresh hit and we're good to go. So we lit our candle for Sekhmet. You arise in the Alcatis Kefri, O Ra, spreading your light upon the earth. You set in peace in the mountains of Manu as a tomb, bringing your light to Duat. Shine upon earth as you do in heaven and Duat. Hail and praise unto you, O Ra, who came from Nun at the first time, for such is your uniqueness. Hail and praise unto you, O Ra, who placed Hu at your left side, for such are the words you commanded. Hail and praise unto you, O Ra, who placed Sia at your right side, for such is your great wisdom. Hail and praise unto you, O Ra, whose Hika goes before you, for such is your ability. Hail and praise unto you, O Ra, who rules with Ma'at upon your brow, for such is your righteousness. Hail and praise unto you, O Ra, and hail and praise unto you, O Hathor, mistress of Dendarah, I am daughter of Ra. Hail and praise unto you, O Iunu, you lords of love and lords of life. Grant us life, well-being, and health. May our eyes perceive your goodness and our hearts receive your wisdom. May you shine upon us as you traverse the sky, that we may bring to you Ma'at and cast out his Fet. And may you guard us from the evil one through the dark hours of the night, your protection being before us, and your strength being within us. Make sure I don't drop those. There we go. Take these, your cool waters, which are the inundation, that they may cool your hearts. What do you not should do? These cool waters are the eye of Horus. Your hearts may be refreshed. Milk,
Yes.
milk, may you taste it in your shrine. May your hearts be refreshed with it. We bring you this milk from the great flood, Oyunachuru, that you may be purified with it. We give you incense. We give you incense, great of purity. This incense is the eye of Horus, and its fragrance comes to you. It cleanses you. It adorns you. It takes its place upon your hands. Oyunachuru, we give to you this eye of Horus, and its fragrance comes to you. Take this, your bread on which gods live. This bread is the eye of Horus, Oyunachuru. Lift it to your faces and be at peace with it. The gardens prosper and Hapi rejoices, overflowing with his meal. We fill the eye of Horus for you with wine, O Ra, O Hathor, O Yunachuru. Drink and be pure. The doors of heaven and the doors of earth are open with libations for you within this house. May your faces be refreshed with your libations, your wine, and your water. And speaking of water, you ready?
Yeah.
Its cool waters are upon your hands, and they purify you. It technically purifies you. Hey, let's see how you know. We're coming to you without false that evil. Purities upon our hands, our purities within our hearts, so we cast out all evil that pertains to us.
Well, I answered that question.
We are pure, we are pure, we are pure, we are pure. Aren't you glad you took care of some things first?
Aren't you glad I took care of some things first?
There you go. I think it's kind of refreshing at this time of year.
You even had time to warm up, so to speak. Maybe sitting under the fan cooled it.
Well, actually, no. It's I keep the jar on a bookshelf, so it's kind of out of the way. You know, it's just, you know, it's about 73 degrees in here, I think. Which is livable, especially when with the fans going. But
Yeah, it's quite nice.
yeah. See, technically, our AC unit is a little underpowered for the square footage that we have. That's what we were told when we moved in. But in order to upgrade, we'd have to have them like completely redo the ducting and stuff like that. So it's like, look, let's just stick with what we've got. So we said 13 years ago. Yeah, the last couple of summers have been a little hot. Yeah.
Yeah. It's kind of like how they put it in Bill and Ted. Past me screwed future me. You know?
So what?
Past me
Bill
screwed
and Ted,
future
they
me.
had the concept.
Oh, past me screwed.
Past me. Yeah.
Screwed future me. Oh well.
That's typically the case for most of us.
Yeah.
You know, past
Yes.
you screws future you.
Yeah. That's how it always goes. Okay, we are doing our second round of incense.
Does this mean the gods are incensed?
No, because incensed means you're angry, and we do not want that. We're
Yeah.
offering
No, I was being punished.
Especially with Stephanie.
I was being
or
punished.
Hathor. You don't want Hathor to get angry either. She can turn into a lioness too.
Right. I was being
Yeah.
punished.
But you have to be careful though, because puns suggest a hidden meaning in Egyptian belief.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you know, we might groan
Things
at
are
them,
connected.
right? But for them, if there's a pun, that means there might be something to it. So we offer them incense so they will not be incensed.
Right.
Pure, pure is Ra Horaketi within his house. Pure, pure is Hathor, mistress of Dendarah, within her house. Pure are the cause of all of these gods, with this good myrrh that is given. Jehuti proclaims it. It is written in his house of sacred words. Hapi gives in abundance. Thousands of offerings, all things good and pure for Ra Horaketi, for Hathor, in every place that their immortal cause dwell. Come to your body, O Ra Horaketi. Come to your body, O Hathor. Come to your bodies, O Iunu, and come to your invocation. Come unto us, your servants, who are mindful of your feasts and your offerings. Bring your power, your hika, your honor, and your ba to these, your offerings, and partake of them. Come, O people, raise these offerings before the faces of these gods. Lift the offerings before Ra, before Hathor. All life comes from them. All health comes from them. All stability comes from them. All good fortune comes from them, as it has since the first time. O Ra Horaketi, and your son, the Osa Nisu Neb Capital Ra. Your foes retreat from you. Horus turns himself to his eye. Turn yourselves to these, your offerings, and receive them from our hands. And from the table of the gods, from the table of the blessed dead, we light this candle that it may be the eye of Horus that lights their way in Duat. And shows them the way under this full moon. And we pour these cool waters from the table of Osiris, that their hearts may be refreshed. Horekeru ta henket ka kao abdu senachrimahai kudnibet nofra waberang het nachrim and kao and akupu nibu ma'achere nibu hiranachra. A voice offering, bread and beer, 1,000 of beef and fowl, incense, oils, and all good and pure things on which a god lives, for the cause of all of these blessed dead, all true of voice before the great God. And apparently this week we lost actor Donald Sutherland. And he's one of those folks that's been in so many different things. Everybody could probably think of something that they remember him from. Oddly for me, I think immediately of he was the I call him the conspiracy guy that was in JFK, the movie that came out a little over 30 years ago. And he was also in another movie from the early 90s called Backdraft. He was a serial arsonist that was in jail, and so he was almost like I wouldn't say his character was kind of like a Hannibal Lecter, but as an arsonist, and he just did such a great job with that role. It's like it was like the best part of the whole movie was his character. So, But yeah, you know, it's sad when you lose somebody like that. But he was 88, so we have to tell ourselves, well, um, you wish you could keep them all, but that's not how it works. So, um, may he be true of
friend of
voice.
mine,
Yes.
a friend of mine had a cat, and she is going to have him put down because he's going through his end of life phases.
Yeah.
And his name is Oliver, so I said
Oliver.
we'd mention him.
Sure. Yes. So prayers for Oliver that he go home to Mama Bast and pick out a new kitty. And tell her how good his owners were. Or well, okay, his staff. Dogs have owners, cats have staff.
Yes.
But yeah. So. All right. And now we come unto you, O Ra, as Jehuti comes, our hands joined under Ma'at. Ma'at has come to be with you in every place where you are. An offering of Ma'at is made unto you, that your heart may be pleased and your Ka shall live. Truly, your Enid has Ma'at, but they know you live in her. The Enid says unto you, your word is law, eternally. This fet is cast out by your word. Rejoicing is yours every day. And Ma'at has taken her place in your shrine. And may we always act with gentility and compassion, for such is the first Ma'at. May we always offer charity and hospitality, for such is the second Ma'at. May we always respect consent and fidelity, for such is the third Ma'at. May we always avoid violence and promote wellness, for such is the fourth Ma'at. May we always speak words of truth, for such is the fifth Ma'at. May we always promote the public good, for such is the sixth Ma'at. May we always act humbly with temperance, for such is the seventh Ma'at. May we always honor our gods and respect others, for such is the eighth Ma'at. May we uphold Ma'at like Jehuti, that we may witness Ra's perfection every day. All right. Let's see, what time is it? Okay. Yeah. It's pressure. Oh, okay. Prayers for peace with my new roommates. I just moved. Yeah. Um, I think I don't know if it's a case of you're just starting out and hope things work out with them. But I might have something that I wrote down a while back in one of my books here, a prayer for. Okay, yeah, here we go. Wow, and I wrote this. I actually put a date on it. February 14th of 2021. Now this is actually based on a spell from the Book of the Dead, but for Mary Draw for her roommates. May four knots be tied by the guardians of the sky. May four knots be made firm by Set for Osiris, as he did on that day of cutting off the lock of hair. And may Mary Ra and her roommates know friendship, as the Aeneid once knew friendship, before any uproar had come to be, when Osiris and Set caused one another to be well. So, Yes, and tying knots is a form of working magic in Egyptian practice. So, okay.
I think folks might, now that I know who we're talking about, Donald Sutherland.
Yeah, yeah, and not to be confused with this, huh?
He was the primary antagonist in the Hunger Games.
Yeah, that, and then of course is in Mash, but yeah, and not to be confused with the son Sutherland.
He was a antagonistic or a troublesome character, regardless.
Yeah.
If not outright a villain.
Right. Hail, O Hathor, O golden lady, mistress of love, O beautiful one who comes in joy, mistress of dancing and revelry, beloved daughter of Ra, lady of turquoise and gold, you light up the sky with your brilliance. Shine upon all faces and bless us with your love. O Eye of Ra, may you defend us from evil. O Mistress of the West, may you embrace our blessed dead and guide us safely to them when our day of mourning comes. And of course, day of mourning, that's a poetic way the Egyptians have for, saying, the day of your passing, to moor being to, your boat is done sailing and it's at the dock. Your journey is done. But all right, and there's something else that I had written that's specifically for Ra. If I can find that. And may not be able to. Oh, here we go. Now these I started writing some things down after reading the. I got a hold of Faulkner's translation of the pyramid text, which is very, very different from Allen's translation. The language is very different in them, and so I saw some things that I wrote down. Those aren't in a book yet, but I will share them with you. Hail unto you, O Ra, in your life and your goodness, on your thrones and your daises. Bring to us life and prosperity, health and happiness, clothing and food, that we may partake of them. Like Jehuti, may we see you when you go forth in the sunbark, shine upon the twin horizons. Heaven is pure for Ra, the earth is pure for Horus, and every god and goddess in between them is pure, and we worship them. And in Ma. I tell you what, since it's the full moon, we'll also read something for Jehuti, and then we'll go ahead and we'll do our fortunes. Hail and praise unto you, O Jehuti, thrice great God, the son of Ra, Lord of Kemnu, wise one in Iunu. You report to Ra every morning. Messenger of humankind, you know people by their speech, judge them by their deeds. Those true of voice before Osiris, their names are in your list. The Aeneid gives you praise as you guide the bark of millions, as you cast out the evil one, as you change strife into peace. You know all secrets, all books, all deeds, the fleeting moment, the hour of night. No report to Ra is forgotten. Your words endure for eternity. friend of the people, wise and impartial, great one, Lord of Ma'at. Already. Now, hopefully we'll have enough cookies for everyone tonight. If we run out, then of course the first one we're going to start off with is a cookie for everyone. So that much is, we're all covered at least that much. Now remember, last week said the road to success is always under construction. So we'll see what they have to say this week. And I see some cookie icons already. So let's start with the one for everybody. Here we go. A house without books is like a room without windows. So that is our fortune. I think that's Jehuti speaking. So his energy is very present, of course, under a full moon. A house without books is like a room without windows.
Yeah, it's like, I'll put his fib on my altar.
Yeah. Alrighty, Alan, we have a super sticker. Creature of Legend. Oh, I love it. That is a cute little icon there. But level up. Okay. Alrighty. Okay, now I'm gonna. Okay. Oh, it looks like someone had a question here. Let me see if I can scroll up. Oh goodness. Yeah. Hey, Katie. Just promoting this. Good health. Tribe of Yamas in with Horus is Tammuz. No, those are totally different deities, and that's actually something I'm going to talk about in the book that I'm writing on Ishtar. But the thing is, and especially if you're coming from Wicca and mainstream paganism, that was very much influenced by James Frazier and the school of thought that all of the different religious traditions of the Middle East, and I'm counting Egypt with that, had more or less the same beliefs, just different names. That's where your idea of the goddess of 10,000 names and comes from. And if you've ever been in like a Wiccan shindig, and they talk about the Lord and the Lady who's known by different names and all that traces back to the Victorian era and this dying and rising God school of thought, and they wanted to conflate especially Tammuz/Dumuzi and Osiris, but the problem is you're kind of looking at the entire region of the Middle East and just like reducing it to one overall theme, which is it does a disservice. We know that there's variations, in Europe, like there's a difference between, Roman and Celtic and, heathen, traditions. So why should we, paint a different region with the same brush? Dumuzi and Tammuz are essentially the same. Tammuz is the Hebrew and also the Arabic name. The Arabic month name for July is still Tammuz to this day, and that traces back to Dumuzi. But Dumuzi is very different from Osiris, and Horus does not die and rise. He's, he gets sick as a kid because he gets, bit by a scorpion, but that's a motif that's referred to in spells, that anxious Egyptian parents would have invoked to heal their sick children. So
the only thing like that it kind of works that way is the concept of the current pharaoh lives, he's Horus. He dies, he becomes Osiris.
Right.
And then his successor becomes Horus.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, but that's really the thing. And, and sarcastic, you were asking.
Do, I think.
Yeah, and sarcastic, you were asking, is there noticing any bias in the James Allen version? Yeah, a little bit. Yeah. I think I would be curious to know if he would have rendered anything differently had he been having it published by somebody other than Society for Biblical Literature. But I don't know. And that's why I'm going to sit down with both versions and compare them at some point, because he does weird things like translates Ra as son, and Wepawet is translated as paths parter. And so I'm like, okay, I'm going to go back and make note. He's actually saying Wepawet here, So yeah, there is that difference, but otherwise, where I have been able to compare, it's pretty close. Just I think I don't know. I kind of like to average them out and kind of take the best from both, but that's my take. So anyway, cookies. The first one is from Ashley Spradley from Anapu Invest. And Faint Star says, I'm not yet connected with Hathor, so this is good timing. I'm open to her message. Thanks in advance. Cool. But let's start with Ashley. I'm asking Anapu and Bass to weigh in. Okay. Attention is the mother of memory. So Ashley, attention is the mother of memory. So time to be mindful of something this week. Okay, and Faint Star is asking for Hathor to give some insight. Faint Star. School is a building which has 4 walls with tomorrow inside. School is a building which has 4 walls with tomorrow inside. There we go. Okay. Love Deluxe from Anapu. And then Thrilo. So Love Deluxe. Okay, Love Deluxe. A wise person cares not for what he cannot have, but for what he can. A wise person cares not for what he cannot have, but for what he can. So don't worry and get caught up on the things that you can't do or that you cannot attain. Worry about the things that you can, that are within your power. Because that's going to be much more important. Okay, so Thralo and then Abby. Thralo. All that we are is the result of what we have thought. So, Thralo, all that we are is the result of what we have thought. So be mindful of your thoughts because your thoughts, you know, influence what you are. And it's funny, that's part of, so I actually have it up here. There's a thing in Buddhism called the Eightfold Path, but it starts with from right thought proceeds right speech. From right speech proceeds right action. From right action proceeds right livelihood, right effort, awareness, concentration, wisdom, and finally enlightenment. But it all begins with right thought. So, okay. Abby? All right. Abby, laziness is nothing more than the habit of resting before you get tired. Laziness is nothing more than the habit of resting before you get tired. So wait until you're tired to rest. Okay. Katie Horton from Set. And then Lakshmi from Wet White and Anapu. All right. Hey, Lakshmi. Hope you're doing all right. We'll start with Katie Horton and Set. All right. All things come to the one who goes after them. So, Katie, all things come to the one who goes after them. So, Set is telling you to go for it. Go after it. And I get a sense that he's saying, be proactive and do some things to take care of yourself. Go after some things, because he wants you to feel better and to be able to do better. So, and let's see, Katie, and then Lakshmi from the Jackals from Anapu and Wickaway. Darren stepped out because he's keeping an eye out for our company that's going to be coming over if they're not already here. But Lakshmi, it is better to be the hammer than the anvil. So that is their message to be proactive, to be the one that strikes, not the thing that is receiving the blow. It is better to be the hammer than the anvil. And I don't know what you guys think, but it seems to me that the summer solstice is always a point where we're kind of at, and again, for folks who are below the equator, it's winter solstice, but it's a high point of energy. And when we're working hard and we're putting out a lot of things that later in the year, it's going to come back to us. So we may not see all of the ways that it manifests, right away, but that's because we're in the thick of it right now. And so I notice we're getting lots of messages about being proactive and doing things, to better ourselves, to don't rest before we're tired. And B from Ra and maybe Jehuti. All right. And then that one person. So B. B. It's nice to be important, but it's more important to be nice. It's nice to be important, but it's more important to be nice. I don't know if this makes sense, but the thought that I immediately get is be nice to your coworkers. Okay, so that one person, excuse me, from Heru. And then is that Shamsuddin from Hathor? So, all right, that one person. Horace says, all right, that one person. An optimist is the human personification of spring. So that one person. An optimist is the human personification of spring. And that's very beautiful and poetic, but yes, think about life returning, possibilities, all of those good things. Manifest, and that is what an optimist is. Alrighty. So is that from Hathor? I think somebody was tripping out last time, just seeing my my leopard stole going across the camera as I was stepping back and forth. Wow. It's funny you ask for a message from Hathor, is that, and what we get is love is as necessary to human beings as food and shelter. Love is as necessary to human beings as food and shelter. And if you're feeling like you're not getting enough of that, well, we're glad you're here, and we love that you are here, and you are always welcome here. And hopefully that gives you one little point to start from. So, that was for you, Kristen Rebase from Wet. Wow. Adversity is the first path to truth. So, Kristen Rebase, adversity is the first path to truth. Says the opener of the way. So that's pretty significant. Okay. All right. So Kendra, message from Anapu, please. And then Mary Rob from a roommate situation. Okay. And Let's see, and I see we got the Discord cookies. Let's see. Uh, let's see. Ite Tauruset, and Diamond in the Flesh. Okay. Yeah, we'll see how the cookies are going. But so we'll start with Kendra from Otaku. Kendra, it seems people like to give advice, but don't listen to their own. Seems people like to give advice, but don't listen to their own. Again, that can work two ways. If you've been giving advice, pay attention to the advice you've been giving because you might need to apply it to yourself. But also, if there are some people that are giving you advice, it might be the things that they need to be telling themselves too. It seems people like to give advice, but don't listen to their own. Okay, so Mary Dra, and then Eden Lou from Anubis. And Mary Dra. Okay, something with the roommate situation. Love is the only medicine for a broken heart. Love is the only medicine for a broken heart. Now you know more about the situation than we do, but I don't know. The sense I'm getting is to kind of find out what's going on with them. They might be something's presenting to you, and they're being hostile to you, but there's something else going on. I don't know, but love is the only medicine for a broken heart. And just make sure to take care of your own in the process. You can't help others if you're in a spot yourself. So Eden Lou from Anubis. Wow. Eden Lou. Let's finish this up now. Someone is waiting for you on that. That's surprisingly direct. Let's finish this up now. Someone's waiting for you on that. Whatever it is. Okay, let's see. And let me see. I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 cookies left. As of right now, we're picking up with Jaden. So Jaden, then 6, and then and okay, see Conspiracy Town. I roughed myself off, say the gods. Yes, I'm fine with going last to make sure everyone else gets one. All right. Let's oh goodness and Pesha. All right, let's see what we can do here. So we'll start with Jaden. Jaden, live in this moment. All caps, this. So Jaden, I assume it's Mahika. Live in this moment. Okay. No, Discord cookies. Let's see. Vera, I got 4. Yeah, we're about to run out this time. I'm going to go through those, and then I'll be able to do two more. And I see Conspiracy Town and Pesa. Um, and I think that's going to have to wrap it up for the cookies. So let's see. So, all right, Vera. So for Vera, just wait for the right moment. Keep your eyes and ears peeled. That was very direct. So for Vera, just wait for the right moment. Keep your eyes and ears peeled. Okay, and Luca, probably going to ask our jackals for Luca. Make your judgment trustworthy by trusting it. So, Luca, this is telling you to trust your own judgment. Make your judgment trustworthy by trusting it. And others will trust you if they feel that you trust yourself. So make your judgment trustworthy by trusting it. That's for Luca. Ita Taurasret. Keep it simple. The more you say, the less people remember. So that's for Ita Taurasret. Keep it simple. The more you say, the less people remember. If you give them short and sweet, it'll stick with them. So keep it simple. And finally, for Diamond in the Flesh. Okay, get ready. This one's kind of long, but for Diamond in the Flesh. Nature gave us one tongue and two ears so we could hear twice as much as we speak. Nature gave us one tongue and two ears so we could hear twice as much as we speak. So that's for Diamond in the Flesh. Okay, next is for Pesa, asking from Bast. Okay, one of these will be the one. All right, you know what? Okay. I think they were just kind of ricocheting into the basket. So, Pesa. An agreeable romance might begin to take on the appearance. An agreeable romance might begin to take on the appearance. Oh, and what's interesting is this is one of those fortunes that has a Chinese word on the back, doctor. So who knows? Maybe you'll bump into somebody at the doctor's office. Who knows? But an agreeable romance might begin to take on the appearance. And the last one, that kind of sucked. Ow. It's for Conspiracy Town. And you kind of roughed yourself up. Let's see what they have to say. Don't go getting yourself in any trouble now. But Answer just what your heart prompts you. Unless you know that's going to start a fight. I think that might be a useful caveat. But answer just what your heart prompts you. Okay. Well, that is it for our cookies for this week. I will have a restock next week. And definitely need to make sure I have some in anticipation of Holy Week, the days on the air, because we'll be broadcasting every day. Now, I will pre-tape something for Friday, July 19th, because we'll have just gotten off of kind of a marathon stretch, and so we'll pre-tape something, to premiere at the usual time. And that could give me a chance to maybe film some things, maybe at sunup or something like that. We can do something that we normally couldn't. And also on kemeticreform.org, I have a new calendar for the next year. And also I went through and I put together dates for what would be a Mesopotamian observances. And so I know there are folks who are interested in doing that too. Maybe we'll get, to mess around with Saturday and do something. That might be fun. And also, if you're wondering, well, why is it year 20? That is because the very first website that I built that was, an online temple of Tutankhamun, I started in July of 2005. And, it's evolved a lot since then, obviously. But that was the first year that I did that. So, that marks year one. And so 2024, 25 is year 20. So that's the reason behind that. Okay. My mom thinks I still believe in the Christian God and still a Christian. She doesn't believe I worship the Egyptian gods. It irritates me. Oh, well, a lot of people can't fathom the idea that, there are people who take this seriously. And you know what? I would say if she still thinks that, then humor her. It might work to your advantage. But let's see. Okay, and one I asked for one from Jehuti, please. How to find the right words when I'm scared, which is like all the time. Okay, and we're out of cookies, but remember what Jehuti said at the beginning. A house without books is like a room without windows. He might want you to curl up with a good book, but also, don't be afraid to, come talk to folks here, or on the Discord. If you're scared and you're worried about things. Another thing to keep in mind is sometimes we, if we live too much in our heads, then we can kind of magnify things and be more scared of things than, we should be. Keep in mind, we also got a lot of messages about being proactive. So sometimes that can take, the fear out of something when you, instead of letting something nag you, just say, all right, I'm going to tackle this head on and take care of it. Sometimes you'll feel better after you do that. But, Okay. Yes. Let's see. Now, up my meds. Oh goodness. Let's see. Yes, and thank you for the Discord link. Now, okay, and I did see Itets and Eldridge had asked for one from Hathor and Mary Wepawet. And I'm sorry we ran out of them for you guys. Yeah, go ahead and give us some likes. Let's see, and Sarana, if you're running out, yes, Sarana, we definitely will need you on your affirmations because I think that'll be a big help. Okay, Ashley's got to head out. Good night. Take some Tylenol and crash. Absolutely, goodness. Um, well, let's see. Hmm. Oh, well, thank you. Yeah. So what I mean, I give myself permission to succeed. I give myself permission to match up. Yeah. Okay. Well, yeah, I think it's time we go ahead and wrap this up. But thank you as always for joining us. We're going to go ahead and do the final prayer to make our offerings endure, and of course uh, like, subscribe, join us next week, all those good things. But let's go ahead and wrap up. And if anybody's got any other requests, for prayers, or something's going on, just go ahead and shoot that up there. Hail unto you, Atum. Hail unto you, Capri. You come into being upon the primeval hill. You shine forth upon the shrine of the phoenix in Iunu. You breathe out Shu and Tefnut. May the giving of these offerings endure, as the name of Atum, foremost of the great Enid, endures. May they endure as the name of Shu, Lord of Upper Menset in Iunu, endures. As the name of Tefnut, Mistress of Lower Menset in Iunu, endures. As the name of Geb at the Earth's Ba endures. As the name of Newt in the Shrine of Shanit in Iunu endures. As the name of Osir, Kentiamentiu endures. As the name of Aset in Echeru endures. As the name of Sutek in Nubet endures. As the name of Horus in Pe endures. As the name of Wajit in Dep endures. As the name of Jehuti in Khamenu endures. As the name of Ra in the Akhet endures likewise for eternity. You've come in peace, O Ra. You've come in peace, O Hathor. You've come in peace, O Yunachiru. May you go forth in peace, O Ra, O Hathor. May you go forth in peace, O Yunachiru, to every place your immortal cause wish to be. May you sail in joy in the Manjet bark, and rest content in the Sektet bark. And may you smile upon us, your humble servants. Alrighty, well, thank you, everyone. And one other thing, there was the question about is there a Christ figure, in Egyptian religion? The reason why there isn't one like you might be expecting is what we have to keep in mind is that you have to remember the idea of Christ, of the Messiah, that is a deliverer who is supposed to come and walk among human beings. That's what Jesus of Nazareth was supposed to be, and then, there's the theology that I think was developed after the fact of, well, he was the Son of God and he was of God and da da da. You have to keep in mind in the early church, there was a lot of disagreement over the exact nature of Jesus' divinity. And then the Council of Nicaea, which came up with the creed that, so many of us are familiar with reciting on Sundays, in setting that down, they basically retconned a whole lot of other sects Christianity that were, vying for a foothold in the early, history of the church, um, because there were some that believed he wasn't divine until he died on the cross, and things like that, or that there were two separate forms, a lot of different ways of trying to interpret it. And so that's why you can't really find something like that in Egyptian religion, because there were points that they were looking for kind of a savior figure, but it was also during those periods when there was a lot of political turmoil, and they wanted someone to come and make everything right. And so they were looking for a human person to come and you know uh, set what they believed order to be. And now we can kind of look at that and say, well, there are problems with that. There have been enough people who've come and said, well, I am the answer to all of your problems. I'm the one who's going to set the true worship right, whatever. And some of us are skeptical of that. And but that also means you're not going to be looking for a figure who's already a deity to fulfill that role. Now there is some literature that was written after the fact, that made it sound like the king that sort of founded the Middle Kingdom as we understand it now. There was some literature that made it sound like, oh well, he was the one that came and set everything right after a period of turmoil that we now call the First Intermediate Period. But there again, this was people after the fact going and saying, well, this person was, they were a savior. They were, somebody who made everything better again, and so, that's the closest thing that you can, come up with to it. But, Christianity is unique enough that I don't think it's fair to try to, look for a parallel in other religions like that. So that's my little bit of historical lecture, I guess, for the end of the evening. I think our company is here, so I have to let you guys go. But much love. Thank you so much, and have a happy solstice weekend. So. Okay. Oh, and Sarana, thank you so much for those affirmations. Those are really awesome. Yeah.
Take care, everybody. See you same cat time.
Yeah. Yeah. The foundation for any relationship starts with me. Well, but yeah, like I said, thank you so much for sharing those with us. Yes. We love you guys, and we'll see you next week. We'll go ahead and type something out. Okay. All right. Yeah, you guys have a good weekend.